how is AI being used? And today, the way that we're seeing it and the way that we're using it, our customers using it, first and foremost is in GPTs, right? So we have customers up until last year, I would say, if you had a question about FEA, CFD, right? You want to know, right? Asking students, asking young engineers, hey, if you want to know right there in the middle of your workday, you need to learn something, what are you going to do? And if you asked anyone up until, say, 2023, maybe even through last year, they would have said, I'm going to Google. I'm going to Google. I'm going to type it in and hit enter, and I'm going to see what happens. And what happens now is it sends you out to the internet, and you're getting a bunch of noise. I don't want to say junk because there's some good information out there, but you got to sift through the junk, right, to get the good stuff. Well, if you ask an engineer now, you ask a student in college right now, you ask them, hey, if you're trying to learn Ansys, or you're trying to learn FEA, CFD, simulation techniques, and you have a question, what do you do? And there's going to be a split now between Google and ChatGPT. And future engineers, they don't care. They're going to just go to whatever search bar is closest to their mouse button, right? And we're starting to see these search bars get embedded in the tools. So right now, we've got Ansys GPT. Ansys GPT is a large language model. It's at your fingertips. You just open it up and you type in, hey, I'm trying to do this thing in Ansys Mechanical. And it will automatically search all of the databases that we have. So that's the first implementation of AI, right? Are these large language models, I'm typing in text and I'm getting answers. It's like having your own personal assistant, except for Ansys GPT, you have a personal assistant that is completely trained in Mechanical, Fluent, and the entire portfolio. And they're instantly tapped into our learning material, our tech support material, the help files, everything instantly. And so that's a huge value, right? Because if you're stuck and you're learning, the last thing you want to do is wait, and the very last thing you want to do is find a bad answer and have you go down a route that's wrong, which we see with the junk that's out there on the internet, right now. But that's just the starting point. The starting point is, how do I aggregate all this technical data and get it easy to find at my fingertips? Really what we want to do is we want to embed AI into our simulation math, okay? Not just a tech support tool, but in the simulation math. And so what we have in our portfolio right now is we have an AI implementation that's centered around big data. So what do I mean by that? Instead of doing one simulation, I do 10 or 100 or 1,000. And so we have a lot of statistical math that we wrap around our physics. And there are ways to optimize within that data set. And so we've got some AI algorithms that allow us to do that. That is what I would call sort of interpolating AI, right? Let's talk about extrapolating or generative AI. Generative AI is saying, I just fed you a data set. Now you know what all these relationships are between my inputs, my outputs, and the physics. Now I want to give you brand new geometry. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a what-if scenario that you haven't seen. It is outside or extrapolated from the training data. And that's our SIEM AI tool. So, however you want to use AI in simulation right now, there's a couple different options. I think the jewel in the crown, if you will, would be the TwinAI tool, which is basically saying, I've got a predictive generative AI tool that I'm running on the fly, and not only is that fed with high-quality training data, say historical, but I'm actually feeding it live on the fly with sensor data from a machine or from the field. It doesn't get any more accurate than that.